Hello, in this video I'm going to go over the 3 things that you can do if you have an avoidant dismissive attachment style to be able to earn a secure attachment style. So if you have an avoidant dismissive attachment style, it's likely that maybe your partner complains much more about you than you feel is necessary. You are probably avoiding psychotherapy, and with the avoidant attachment style, the people that have the style, it's actually very rare for them to seek out help. More like people with anxious attachment style or fearful attachment style, those are the guys that are going to come to therapy. With the avoidant attachment style, people come to therapy when they're experiencing somatic symptoms. So experiencing panic attacks, unexplained pain, maybe you went to a medical doctor, they said it was psychological, you ended up at the therapist's office, or sexual problems. So, if you're having these kind of problems with a partner, sexual problems also can end up at the therapist's office if you figure out that it's psychological. So the folks with attachment dismissive style, they actually built such a good defense around themselves to be able to maintain their independence, to be able to maintain the homeostasis. They don't feel like there's much of a problem. They feel like there's goals that they need to meet in life. They could be very social still and be in relationships and feel like everything is fine. Now, what they're missing on, what you're missing on if you're avoidant attached, is the beauty of being truly connected to someone on a psychic, emotional, physical level. And I think philosophically in society what happened, there was a split between the mind and the body and ideas about independence and about the survival of the fittest. And I think scientifically these ideas are being very much challenged right now. For example, Charles Darwin, he thought that trees are these absolute loners that are competing with each other for sunlight. But new research sees that a forest is actually such a complex, interconnected system that trees are actually feeding each other and are giving each other resources, giving each other energy. And that when a tree is dying and even dead, other trees still can't let go of it. And they use their resources to give to that tree. And so we look at nature, we see that we're actually a very interconnected species, and most likely we're exchanging energy with each other on a level that we cannot even cognitively understand, because our bodies, our spirits are so much smarter than us. And so this idea about being independent, it's very much, it's very profitized in society. It's very much admired and respected. And there's this idea that you should be able to handle anything by yourself and manage yourself. And I think most likely it's not true. I think that there's a beauty of being interconnected. There's a beauty when it comes to psychology of emotional co-regulation. So working on, whatever things are coming up for you, if you're a couple, with your significant other, with a therapist, with friends, I think these things are this is just a great part of life. And also there is a particular beauty that is unexplained by words when you can really psychically and emotionally connect to another being. And that's not something that you can explain on a cognitive level. It's just something that you can feel. So if you have the style avoidant dismissive, you're missing out on that. You're missing out on that feeling that you get when you're truly, truly integrated with other people. Another thing is that we all tend to live in our bubbles. We all have our own set of beliefs, and we usually find people that match our set of beliefs. We engage in social media that matches our set of beliefs. We create a bubble around us that keeps confirming what we believe. And so the more avoidant we are, the less we connect with other people, the further from reality we live. So the more connections that we create with other people, the deeper those connections are, the more in tune we are with reality in general. So, and of course, you're still going to live in your space, but it's going to grow a little bit larger with the connections that you can create. So the three things that, the three tips or tools that I can give for somebody that has an avoidant, dismissive attachment style is, one, you can start at a cognitive level. And at the cognitive level, I would use awareness exercises to see how you're experiencing other people. So next time you find yourself in a group of maybe 5-6 people, how did you experience them? Now, with avoidant dismissive, frequently what happens is like their body gets a little tight. So if you notice like a little tightening of your body, if you're really aware of what's happening within you. And the reason why the body gets tight is, once again, it's kind of like a protective mechanism, almost on a physical level, like, don't get close to me. You know, I'm here in my protective bubble. Stay away. So that's one thing that happens. The second is purely cognitive, where the avoidant is going to start passing a lot of judgments. So it could be about other people's characters, it could be about their the way that they look, the way that they dress, and that is the most common defense strategy for the avoidant attached. It's because if they can dismiss, what is called dismissive, if they can sort of dismiss other people, then they don't have to risk being hurt by them. So if they have a negative view of, you know, all these people, and they don't think that they're very important, then they don't risk this pain that might come from creating intimacy, creating connection. And of course, we all judge people. You're always going to have some impression of someone that could be positive, that could be negative, that could be neutral. So all that is normal. Now, with a dismissive avoidant attachment, it's going to skew towards negative. It's always going to skew towards negative. So journaling, if you're a dismissive avoidant, journal when you're interacting with people. So if you're finding yourself in a group of, you know, several people, or if you're going on a date, you know, or your significant partner, what do you think about them? So journaling what you think about people and how your physical being is responding to being around, physically around other people. If you're feeling any kind of tightness, maybe your heart is racing a little bit, you have difficulty making eye contact, you avoid making eye contact with people, how are you experiencing other people? So journaling on its own, that is already going to make some changes. That is already going to help you see how you're interacting with the world and help bring you closer to that secure attachment style if you do this over a long period of time. So that is the first tool, and that's on a cognitive level. The second two tools are not on a cognitive level, and I think they're much more important. So you want to find an outlet for yourself to be able to better connect with your body, because what happens is when you better connect with your body, you're more able to kind of stay in your energy and also feel other people as well. So the second is try holotropic breath work. Holotropic breathwork is a ritualistic ceremony. It takes place over sometimes a full week, sometimes 2 days, sometimes just 1 day. And you practice a method of breathing that is very fast and very deep. It's done with a group of people, maybe 10-15 people, maybe more. You start off with a meditation session, with an opening group conversation session, and then you go into the breath work for 2.5 hours, and it is accompanied by evocative music. So what that does is that it actually puts you into an altered state of consciousness, something similar to maybe doing psychedelics. And in that state of consciousness, you can't explain this cognitively because you're out of a cognitive state. You fall into a deeper physical state. Your body, your mind, your spirit starts to heal itself, and your brain and your body, it's always trying to fix itself. That's even why you have defenses. It's always trying to rework the same traumas. It's always trying to figure out how to do things better. But it can get stuck because sometimes you're in that cognitive state. So you're already hardwired into doing things the way that you know how to do them. And so with the holotropic breath work, you're actually freeing yourself from that state, and you're going deeper into your physical being, and you begin to rework traumas that occurred to you as far as in the prenatal stage. So when you were still, in your mom's womb, where you were the birth traumas, early childhood traumas. And what holotropic breathwork does, in my own experience and experience of other people and reading some research, one thing that it does amongst many is it allows you to feel more connected to other people. And I don't know if this has to do with the release of trauma or what really the scientific reason is behind it, but as I experienced it myself and talked to other people, it really allows you to kind of open your heart and be less afraid of attachment, be less afraid of interacting with other people, be more present with your body, and know that even if you do get disappointed, if there's a disappointment, from the interaction with other people, you'll be able to handle it too. And so I think holotropic breathwork, as far as learning how to connect with other people and aligning more with reality, is so helpful and so important. And sometimes you need to do several sessions to even feel it, especially if you're very cognitive, if you're very logical, if you use your thinking mind a lot to plan out your life. You might need several of these sessions for you to really have this embodied experience. And the third thing that you absolutely need to do if you are looking to be able to connect more with people is practice mindfulness meditation. Now, mindfulness meditation is a bit of a tricky thing, because I notice a lot of people are using mindfulness meditation to kind of be able to manage things themselves, not relationally, but themselves. And so there's this idea that we need to be able to manage our own emotions, and that's true to a degree, but actually emotions are better managed when they're co-regulated. So when you're a part of a family, you're a part of a couple, if you are securely attached, and if you're really bonding at a psychic emotional level, there's this feeling of like, I got you, right? And so whatever happens in life, the partners or their kids, they kind of have this network that they build amongst themselves, through which they kind of communicate and help each other. And once again, it doesn't even happen on a cognitive level. It happens more on a psychic emotional level, that we can depend on each other. And so with mindfulness meditation, super important to practice it, because it allows you to be more present. So even doing things like point number 1, the journal exercises, being aware of yourself, how are you interacting with the world? Practicing daily mindfulness is going to show this to you. But you don't want to practice it and, in order for you to become a hermit and to kind of recluse within yourself and to be able to learn to regulate all your emotions. Now, if you're anxiously attached, you actually want a little bit more of that. So you actually do want to kind of take it back a notch and be able to like solve things a little bit on your own, because it can be very overwhelming for other people. But if you're avoidantly attached, what to look for is not to use this mindfulness as a crutch and as a way for you to just continue on to live within your bubble, so to say. So these are the 3 tools that you can do with yourself. Obviously, holotropic breathwork is not really something that you can do by yourself. You actually need to find a group and sign up for it, or any other bodily based exercises like somatic therapy. The point is that the number one way, of course, that you can help heal yourself and earn a more secure attachment style is to be in a relationship. And I say this in my other videos as well. These are the self-help tools that I can give you for you to practice on your own. But the number one tool is find a therapist and work with a therapist, especially if you're avoidantly attached. You want to find a therapist that you at least semi-like, okay, somebody that feels like okay, because if you're very avoidant, then you might start passing a lot of judgments, and once again, you're actually going to disconnect from almost any therapist that you've had. And if you are avoidantly attached, notice how many therapists you've already had, how many that you discarded. So you want to find a therapist that you semi-like and commit to at least 1 year. 1 year to working with a therapist on a weekly basis, if not longer. And once again, those changes are just going to start happening for you. Once you find yourself in really like a long-term relationship with somebody that is trustworthy and somebody that is consistent, your own brain patterns are going, they're going to change by themselves. You're not going to really notice, or maybe you are going to notice on some level. But yes, of course, finding a therapist is the number one tool that you can implement to help you earn a more secure attachment style, so that you can have better relationships and so that you can feel more connected to the world. And that is going to increase your sense of reality and help you see the beauty in life, see the beauty of life that is interconnected with other beings. So subscribe to my channel, because I will be making more videos on this topic. If you have an 8-week workshop for adult children of alcoholics, so if you grew up in a family where maybe drugs or alcohol was abused, check out that workshop. It's 8 weeks. Also, if you're interested to sign up to one-on-one coaching with me, you can find the link below. You can find the links below to my other videos as well. And I'll see you next time. I hope you're having a great week.